Hey, what's up guys? Today I'll be doing a review on the GOAT Boxing Black Diamond Boxing Gloves. So check it out. Hey guys, Carlo here. Today I'm doing a review on the GOAT Boxing Special Edition Black Diamond Boxing Gloves. They come in this black and metallic silver colorway. Got mine in 16 ounces and lace up. You can also get these in Velcro, 14 ounces. And this is the only colorway this particular model comes in. So you have two sizes to choose from, two different closures, and one colorway. The glove is made of a synthetic leather outside casing with layered foam over the knuckle area that has a firm feel to it and consistency. And I believe the glove itself is manufactured in either China or Pakistan. There is no labels on the inside designating where it's made, but it does say that it is original Dutch design. GOAT Boxing is a company based out of the Netherlands. Now, from a design standpoint, when you're looking at this glove, profile-wise, this is a little bit on the larger side. You know, typically when it comes to 16-ounce gloves, you have a wide array of different sizes, not in terms of just weight, but the overall size of the glove, both the height, the width, how long the cuff is. And I definitely say that this is a little bit on the larger side. So if you're somebody with longer fingers, bigger hands, then the 16-ounce gloves will definitely be very comfortable for you. For me personally, I like a little bit more compact fitting gloves. So if I were to do it all over again, I'd probably get these in 14. But they're not uncomfortable by any means when it comes to sizing. Just something to kind of keep in mind, take a note of if you're looking at getting these gloves. You'll notice that it does have kind of a glossier synthetic leather outside casing. This glove really reminds me of the Phantom boxing gloves I did a review on, as well as the Power Box gloves, and the type of synthetic they use. You're starting to see more companies that use synthetic of this grade. It's a higher quality, almost like a microfiber like Rival uses, and it's proven to be pretty resilient. You know, a lot of the microfiber gloves I've used, Iso Supremes, obviously the Fly Super Lace X, or you know, any of their X line gloves uses synthetic. Obviously Rival has their microfiber, so you're starting to see many more companies use the microfiber synthetic because it proves to be very durable and resilient, as much as leather, if not more, just depending on how you use it. So you'll notice that it does have that GOAT logo on the back of the glove in gray and white, and then coming down to the back wrist support does say GOAT Boxing across the back of the wrist. Design wise, I think it looks pretty clean. I feel like the GOAT logo could be, I don't know, it feels almost like kind of like, I want to say cartoonish, but I feel like it could be a little bit more refined to kind of give it more of a classical boxing look to it. It just looks a little bit kind of like cartoony and like I don't want to say anime, but just kind of cartoonish to me. It doesn't really say boxing glove if I were to look at that logo, and that's just my personal thing. But not a bad logo, but I think it could be refined. But you do have the GOAT Boxing right there. Come down to the wrist support, you have, I'd say, about an inch of firm density foam padding. It feels like EVA on the back of the wrist. Nice, smooth, foamy tricot inner liner, no bunching up, which is nice. You do have that silver piping at the bottom. Coming to the inside of the wrist, about a ½ inch of firm density foam padding as well. One thing to also note is the inner liner. It has a nice softer foam that lines up against your hand and your wrist, so it doesn't feel like you just have that super hard foam that goes up against your skin. You have nice long white flat laces with plastic tips at the end. Laces are long enough to where you can get a couple of revolutions around your wrist to really lock it in and pin your wrist. It does say 16 ounces right there to give you the weight. You do have ventilated holes on the palm, and you do have a grip bar, but it's a little bit on the smaller side. Wish it was a little bit larger and firmer. It's a little bit on the smaller and softer side. And then you also have a leather attached thumb. I wish the attachment for the thumb was higher up on the tip of the thumb, not so far down, almost a quarter of the way down the thumb, so it doesn't allow the thumb to kind of flare out and poke your sparring partner in the eye. So that's something I feel like the thumb should have been kind of connected at the tip rather than back here. But if you're not using these gloves for sparring, then I wouldn't be too worried about it. And even then, the way that this thumb is kind of flared and bent inwards, you really shouldn't have any issues, you know, poking your opponent in the eye. But it is there. I feel like it should be moved up. Quality wise, you know, for a synthetic glove, I think the glove is pretty solid. I put these on the scale and I believe they're both at 15.9 ounces. So they're pretty much on point with weight for being a 16-ounce glove, which is great to see. The microfiber has held up really nicely. It's a little dirty around the knuckle area, but unlike leather with microfiber, it's not like an actual living skin or a skin that needs to be maintained where you have to clean it and put moisturizer to keep the leather nice and supple. With these microfiber gloves, really I just use like a damp cloth to really wipe them down, and then I air them out so the inside of the glove doesn't get really stinky. But you can see here the stitching is done really solid. The back of the wrist is done very nicely as well. You know, the outside edges and the corners all look really solid. On the inside, you know, where the thumb meets the index finger is done very well. The stitching where the thumb connects to the back looks good. And you have kind of like this little ridge of stitching that kind of comes up and over. The print looks good. Inside the liner is done very well. The glove itself is a hair top heavy, not super top heavy, but you do have that break in that wrist right there. So you could definitely feel like the foam towards the front of the glove is a little bit heavier, but again, good news is the glove is not overweight. Coming to the palm side, it does have that metallic silver color. Looks really clean. I like the way that silver looks. Gives nice contrast to the black as well. If you're a Raiders fan, then you'd probably love the colorway of this. It would have been nice if they put like black or white piping around the thumb to kind of give it just a little bit of extra contrast, because they use the silver as well. But again, that's just more or less for styling. But the palm side right here, stitching looks really clean as well. So in terms of quality, really nice. I haven't really found too many issues with this glove. You know, in terms of weight, pretty much on point with weight as well. Comfort-wise, sliding your hand to the glove. For a 16-ounce glove, again, like I said before, it's a little bit on the larger side. Even with hand wraps on, it feels nice. Doesn't feel like your hand is really cramped in here. Positioning of the thumb is actually good as well. You can see that they've done a really nice job with the size of the piping around the thumb. So I've mentioned this in other videos before, where you know you get this piping that goes around the thumb and it's too tight, and you get that feeling of your thumb going numb, and you know you're basically choking your thumb out, and it just gets really uncomfortable. You know, a couple rounds into your training. With this glove, it's pretty loose, feels comfortable, and also the position of my thumb is really optimal too. Nice and parallel, and when I make a fist, it doesn't jam at the tip of my thumb. Depth of the finger compartment is perfect, really nice and deep. You have this extra neoprene pad. Aside from that grip bar, one thing is though, this foam they use in here, this layered foam is very, very dense. It's gonna take a lot of time to break these gloves in. So, I mean, that's really as far as I can go to open my palm. So if you're somebody that really likes that soft, broken in type of foam where you can open and close your hand with no problem at all, then these definitely won't be the kind of gloves you'll enjoy, just because of how stiff they are, and it's really going to take time to break in. I do wish that they use a little bit more of a softer foam on the inside, you know, layered foam, but a little bit softer. But this is definitely more on the denser side. The liner feels really good. Palm feels great. Wrist support feels really nice. So overall, the comfort is definitely there. Protection, performance-wise, this is definitely more on the protective end. You can definitely see that the surface on this glove gets really nice and flat, and you land on those two front knuckles, but the foam is so dense that you don't really feel like your knuckles get that sensation of making a connection with its target. Now, in terms of like shock absorption, it does a really nice job. If you want something very protective for your knuckles, this padding definitely will do the job. One thing I do wish also is, because it's not a very soft padding, it has kind of this pre-curved shape. So you can see where it kind of slopes almost that way. I wish it was a little bit flatter, because there's times where you feel like, because of the position, how stiff this foam is, that you land a little bit more on here. So it kind of forces you to kind of really turn your hand over a little bit too much. You know, not to almost to the point where you're almost kind of like coming down with the punch, rather than just coming straight across with your knuckles, because this part of the foam extends out further than where your knuckles are placed. So I wish that this was pushed in a little bit further, and even when I pull my fingers in to make a fist, you can see it just extends out a little too far much. And that, to me, I think they can definitely improve that. But this is definitely more on the protective side of things. Cost-wise, these gloves are 109.95 euro. So 109 euro, which when you convert it to US dollars is about 116 US dollars. So just depending on where you're at, where you're watching this video from. Just use your conversion to see how much it would cost for you. $116, not a bad price. You know, it's definitely right in the realm of some other gloves like Venom, some of the mid-tier to higher end Venom gloves. I think it's definitely competitive in that range. I just feel that there's a couple of little tweaks they can make to make this glove even better. Offer more sizes, go with a little bit of a softer foam, more colorways, and I definitely think this can be a very popular glove if they can make some tweaks and refine the glove to be even better. But those are my biggest pros and cons with this glove. It's going to be, you know, the quality is really nice for synthetic. It looks really good. I think this logo right here can be tweaked a little bit. You have a glove that's on point with weight. It's very protective. It's very comfortable. Thumb feels really good. I think the positioning of the fist can be a little bit improved, but they're not overpriced, I don't think. You know, I think there's gloves out there now that are kind of unrealistic with their pricing. They're way too high. And with these, I think they're fairly priced for what they are. So overall, a pretty solid glove. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what else GOAT Boxing comes out with in the future. As usual, if you have any questions or comments, make sure you leave them down below. I'll put the link in the description box where you can find these Black Diamond boxing gloves. See you guys later. Take care.